Hello, everyone. I'm Angelo Robles, founder and chairman of Family Office Association. My podcast is Effective Family Office, and my book, Effective Family Office Best Practices and Beyond, just released. We hope you have a chance to learn a little bit more and hopefully purchase. I'm joined today by Mark Haltsema, advisor to global single-family offices.
Thank you, Angela. It's great to be here with you today. We've been talking today and over the last several weeks about talent and what makes for a strong talent team within a family office. I know Malcolm Gladwell has written and spoken about the differences or the contrast between strong link and weak link. Tell us a little bit more about that, because I know you have certain perspectives and certain ideas about that.
Yeah, I had a great opportunity a couple of weeks back to I was in the second row, Malcolm Gladwell speak, and I've been a big fan for a number of years. It was great to hear him talk about this subject and some others. I went back, I subscribed to his podcast, which I should have done a long time ago, and he also covered it in his podcast, and I've covered it recently in a very brief solo commentary podcast as well. But in our conversation today, would like to pontificate a little bit and get some of our give and go and our feedback, your feedback, on the concept of strong link and weak link. I cannot do it as eloquently as Malcolm, but I'll give you from my perspective a little bit of a brief summary. So Gladwell came across the research of two researchers, I believe they're European, and basically what they were doing as researchers on the game of soccer. So it was really intriguing work understanding the metrics and measurables in a sport like soccer, specifically in Europe, where is soccer a strong link organization or sport, or weak link? Now that's going to need a little bit of a description from my perspective, meaning does your top 20% or your best talent really drive the results? That's a strong link organization. Or weak link, and that really everyone is important, even those that may not be the superstar or not have as much of a facing role on the given a problem or goal, in this case of a family, which we'll get to and tie it into the single family office community. But from my perspective, a brief summary of what he discussed as I laid that foundation is the research showed that soccer is a weak link, quote unquote, sport. Now, sure, would I like to have really, really, really good players? Of course. But to some degree, because it's a low scoring sport, there's a fair number of people on the field at any one time, and there's a tremendous amount of passing, camaraderie, and even a really good team may get, 2 or 3 goals during the game. That they illustrated in their research that your worst player, if I could be a little harsh and use that word, if you could bring them up, that's more valuable than bringing up the quality of your best player a little bit. I think the metrics were, if the best player and worst player got 10% better, what impact would that quote unquote have on the game? The impact was greater in soccer with the lesser player getting better, henceforth weak link. Now, staying on sports, I happen to be a big sports fan. Basketball would be an example of a strong link sport. There's a limited number of players, 5 per team. They play both offense and defense, and it's very fast paced and fast moving. A great player could control a rebound, get it down court, and score on their own. It's far different than soccer. Those of you that are NBA fans, think of an NBA champion that didn't probably have 2 superstars. I was going to say very good players. Now, yes, for the NBA nerds out there, Detroit from about 10 years ago, other than that, good luck. It's really hard to find. In the world of business, I would say hedge funds, for the most part, are strong link organizations. The founder, the PM, tends to be the driving force of the end result, the investment returns. But I think many organizations are more weak link. So I'm led to the fact of giving consideration to this. What are single family offices? Are they strong link or are they weak link? Now, again, every family office is different. They're all snowflakes. Do they have one person? Do they have 500 or 600? Do they have probably the most common, which is probably 5 to 20 in terms of the number of employees? If it's a very, very investment centered on direct deals and pushing for non-public private markets, I could probably make the argument leaning more to a strong link organization. But I think being a little bit broader and forcing me to make a decision on the aggregate of family offices out there, I would say most, in my opinion, are probably closer to a weak link. And they would be better if they would focus on the culture, the camaraderie of the team and the people working together, and whether it's with the talent you have and making them better, or sometimes needing to fire and hire new. Not everyone, again, we spoke about this, is going to be a superstar, is going to be an A++ player. And sometimes a single family office environment doesn't even demand that per se. Some of that could be outsourced. But I want competent, and I want very much on character, loyalty, trustworthy, and the ability to, I would even say, show grit, show perseverance. Even if I have to research a little more, work a little harder, I'm giving you that little bit extra. So I'm going to lean that most single family offices are weak link organizations and would benefit from bringing the bottom up. That often comes from leadership and culture. And does your leadership from the family to the CEO to the C-level executives really believe in there needs to be a constant education, a constant coaching? I mean, Nick Saban at Alabama, great college football coach in America, coaches the players up. He makes them better than perhaps when they translate, when they go into the NFL, because he's really, really good at driving that process to outcome and believes that his role as the leader is to teach and is to educate. And I think some family offices, a lot, fall down on that. I'm the CEO, I'm in an ivory tower, we hire, and you just get the job done. I think they need a little more hand-holding, especially if they're younger and newer to the position. And they may end up being great, but you have to coach, you have to prod, you have to have measurables and metrics where you could see how they're doing and work with them. Or if not, if it's not going to work out, then fire them and move on to a different direction. But I don't think the leadership in the family, broadly speaking, or the SFO, does a good enough job on that. Would love to get your opinion as well.
Thank you, Angelo. I think that's a great overview of the dichotomy between strong link and weak link organizations, both in sports and in the family office world. I am a product of large firms in prior chapters of my career. And in each of those firms, it was a great deal of emphasis on building teams because teams achieve victory, whether in the business world or in the sports world. In the SFO world, I think we have to keep in mind that there may be a hybrid between strong link and weak link, particularly those family offices where a number of the employees, the executives within the family office, are also family members. And this is an opportunity for those certain family members, maybe a younger generation, to learn the ropes. A family office that is, and I've seen a number of family offices that pursue this philosophy, and I think it's a good one, where the next generation, the children who are just graduating from college, go work somewhere else first, get some experience, and come back into the family business or the family office, and then take a leadership position. So if I'm looking at strong link, weak link dichotomy from their perspective, I'm thinking, I want to be part of a weak link team because we already have the strong link. He's the patriarch or the matriarch, and we want to cut our way as well, but we're not at that star power level quite yet. We want to be able to be part of a team that makes a difference for the family office. So I think that I'm a believer in the weak link philosophy as it relates to single family offices, because that, I think, is the way that the business of the family office, and remember, the family office is a business, okay? And some are fledgling and some are more established. But at the end of the day, it's going to run just like any other business, including the family business. And bringing people up as team members getting them to cut their teeth, holding them accountable, making sure they are integrated as a team, I think is really important for the sustainability of the family office, as opposed to having one or two superstars within the family office. That may work for some, but for the vast majority of family offices, which are, again, in that great middle market, and are going to rely on external advisors to assist them. So for those smaller family offices, I think building a team ecosystem will lead to a greater level of success.
I think that's huge, and I like your analogy of kind of team, which stayed a little bit on my sports concept when I spoke about it as well. It reminds me a little bit of someone that I've also written and spoke very highly about, and highly encourage you to read his blogs and buy his books, and that would be, besides Malcolm Gladwell, is awesome, Dr. Adam Grant at Penn, and his book, Give and Take, and he's written others as well. That really, from an analytical perspective, made what certain teams, in the example in the book, it was more with national security issues, which units were more effective than others. And it ended up being you effectively, and this is pretty obvious, but sometimes it's not obvious till we pound you on the head with it. Give and take. I want people that are givers as opposed to takers. Those looking for the self-glory and never accept responsibility for anything wrong. It's always someone else's fault. Right. But of course, at the slightest sign of some success, they're out there in the front, kind of, it's all on me. You want the people that are givers, where we're on a team, you may need a little bit more work, and I'm not here, meaning to bring it up, and I'm not here to bring you down. I'm here, we're on the same team, I'm gonna help you. Now, do I want you to be receptive, open-minded, to take some proactivity in and out of work and get better? Otherwise, I may lose a little bit of faith in your capability, and then maybe you are bringing down the team. Now, I'm expanding a little differently than what Dr. Grant spoke about, but at least within this single family office community, it's on the right track. I want to help you get better and help guide you because we are in it together. Now, I know this all sounds obvious. In reality, it's just often not done, and that's been part of the challenge. There's so much opportunity for single family offices to go from average to good, from good to very good, and maybe rarefied air, but possible from very good to great. And again, sometimes it's even with some of the resources and people that they have, just with some level of leadership and direction. So I'm fascinated as we begin to maybe take it a little bit to a close, but staying on the concept of the importance of talent, of strong link, of wink link, of training and education. What else could families do to really maximize what they have and have a compelling vision for what they want to be?
What they want to be, I think, goes back to the bedrock of the family office, and that is, what is the family committed to, and how is that memorialized in a mission statement or a family constitution? And I know certain families will say, well, that's all very nice, but again, going back to the concept that a family office is a business, it needs to instill accountability and metrics and goals. And all that's very important in building a team, okay? So the fact of the matter is that family offices are built by people. It's a people business, okay? A family office doesn't make anything. Family business does, but the family office is all about whatever the family decides it's about. It could be preserving wealth, it could be education, it could be philanthropy, it could be a number of different things, all of which are tied together. But at the end of the day, it's about the people that work within the family office and those who are fortunate, like ourselves, to work outside the family office advising them. So I think the people factor, raising the team up, holding people accountable, but lighting a fire under people. And I don't mean that in a negative way, I mean in an inspirational way. That this is an organization, a business, a team that is going to make a difference. And the way we do anything is the way we do everything. I too am something of a sports fan. I'm a graduate of Notre Dame, and Notre Dame has had a certain amount of history in having great teams. Well, great teams are led by great coaches, but at the end of the day as well, there is a common vision, a goal. For a sports team, it's winning a championship, okay? For a family office, it's going to be different depending on what the family office is. They're all going to have different goals. But keeping people centered and focused and, if you will, fired up about what that family is all about, I think that's really a weak link analogy, a weak link team, as opposed to supporting stalwarts and star players. Bring the whole group up.
I'm Angelo Robles, founder and chairman of Family Office Association. Effective Family Office is my podcast, and my book of the same name, Effective Family Office. We hope you enjoyed our video podcast and our series of video podcasts as well. You could reach out to me directly at angelo@angelorobles.com or through Family Office Association, angelo@familyofficeassociation.com, or for some of you, perhaps easier, simply on social media, where we maintain, like Mark, an active LinkedIn presence, as well as Twitter. So reach out to us on YouTube and on Twitter. We are very simply Family Office. Thank you very much.